Garcia, right? And for some reason, I looked at my phone. I had just come back from tennis, and I was like, wait, what? And I thought it was a joke. And so I went to X to just trust but verify. So I went to X. I was like, let me read this letter. And I was like, oh, my goodness, yay. I was like, finally, the party is they are listening to their voters, and they realize that they don't have a chance. And I'd written about this 2 weeks ago in an op-ed that ran pretty far wide here in LA. And I'm just so happy because this is the first time, even in the past 24 hours, I have seen so much energy from Democratic voters on this election. Because prior to Biden's announcement, I'm telling you, people were willing to stay home. Like, that's how frustrated and angry folks were. And that wasn't going to be good for all of the state races, our city races, our county races. Because remember, we don't just go to vote for president in November, right? We have all of these other really important races on the ballot. And if Democratic voters stay home, particularly in LA County, everyone else suffers. And now I'm like, okay, we got some movement here. There's a pulse. Folks, the party's coming back to life, and I'm excited. I'm super excited. I know it was a hard decision. I mean, I remember Dominique thinking yesterday, and I don't know if this is going to come out right because I haven't drank all my coffee yet, but how hard it must have been for Biden to have to put that out there, because essentially what we've said as voters, and maybe not in the nicest of ways, is that you're no longer qualified or fit to do the job, and we don't have the faith that you can lead our nation for another 4 years. That's got to hurt. That's definitely got to hurt. But it was a reality for the Democratic Party, who really wants to keep the White House in November. And in order to do that, you have to make sure people are incentivized and people want to go and vote. And just being against Trump wasn't going to be enough this time. It just simply wasn't going to be enough. And they finally understood that, folks, because remember, Biden was very, very clear, right? I'm not going anywhere. I'm not stepping aside.
Yeah.
I'm staying here. And then it was like, okay, well, I guess you are willing to step aside. So I guess folks had a conversation, those conversations they have in the back room, and the message was made clear. And so I, for one, was after I realized it was true and it wasn't a hoax, was very happy. And I was just like, good, this is exactly sort of what we needed to bring the party back to life and to get people talking and invigorated and excited about November.
I've heard from some folks, our own Areva Martin included. She's, of course, an attorney, but also a friend of the vice president. And they are saying that this was just the Democratic Party elite, that it doesn't represent the delegates, the rank and file. I know you're a delegate for the county, not federally, but you say it's the Democratic Party listening to the people. And at first, Biden and some others like Attorney Martin are saying, no, this was the elites, and that the delegates and the rank and file voters got stepped over. You don't agree with that, obviously.
So this is what I know and believe, okay? When I say listening to the people, I probably should be more specific. Listening to funders, listening to the folks that give a lot of money to the party, who have complained ever since Biden's debate performance that they were unhappy. There has been call after conference call with these high profile donors that give a lot of money. It was very clear that folks were willing to pull back on the amount of money that they were willing to give the party. That was a problem for the Democratic Party leadership, right? Now we're at what, 47 million since she was announced, yes.
Biden threw his support behind the vice president. The fundraising has been quite brisk.
Right, exactly. I think Act Blue, last count from Act Blue were like 46.7. So that 47 million, probably higher than that, right, overnight. But I think that writing was really clear on the wall. So those are the people that they were listening to, right? But then remember, after Biden's performance in the debate, myself, other folks, lots of people were speaking out against sort of us going down that road. Like, are we really going to stand by our man? Like, after what we just saw, is this, and there was a lot of that chit chat going on. And again, like I've been telling people, we as Black people, we suffer under whatever party is in office. And there were a number of not just Black folks, but progressive folks who are unhappy with the way the war has been handled, that they were willing to just stay home. Like literally just stay home on election day because it wasn't worth them. People like to use this, the lesser of two evils. The lesser of two evils is still evil. Okay. Like it doesn't turn into good. And there were people who were like willing not to vote against their conscience because they know, like, I'm going to suffer under this party. I'm going to suffer under that party. Oh, well, I'm just out of this because I don't agree with it. And at least I can sleep right with my conscience. And I think the party with all of these different issues, you have that issue, you have the fundraising issue, you had the performance of your candidate to be able to go up against Donald Trump. All of these issues came to a head, and it was just too much. Like I feel like at least now we have a fighting chance in November. Prior to Sunday's announcement, I did not feel like we had a fighting chance.
It's interesting that you say that because I'm hearing a lot, and even from progressives, but actually from left and right, that she can't win. This is, this is a Trump victory is assured if the vice president remains at the top of the ticket. And I find that so interesting, considering that the polling seems to show her doing better against Trump than Biden and than the other candidates that have been sort of thrown out there as possibilities to go against him. I mean, she actually is polling better against him than any of those in all of the data that I've seen.
Look, folks waiting for the perfect candidate will be waiting for their entire lives. There is no such thing as the perfect candidate, right? And so do we have a better candidate with our vice president? I think so. Do we have a candidate that's going to excite women? Yes. Excite Black folks? Yes. I'm not saying all of us, but enough of us. And we know in this country that elections are made and broken with the Black vote. Okay, so let's be really clear. And, there were several news reports I'm sure you saw. I didn't hop on the call, but I saw that there was that call with, 45,000 Black women.
Right.
And then there's one later today that I'm going to jump on for California Black women. So people are excited in a way that they were not excited about Joe Biden. They said you can take what you just said, Dominique, and replace Harris's name with Biden, and they were saying the same things about Biden. Oh, he can't win, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But you're exactly right. I have been looking at the poll data, too, and she is polling far better than Biden was. And I think as she's slated to give her first, media, availability today, I think that is going to boost it even higher. I think who she chooses as her vice presidential pick for this ticket will also make it very interesting and bring another layer to it. But the bottom line is, for those of us who wanted to see a change in the party, we got that change. Is that change perfect? No. But it's definitely something that we can work with to try and beat Donald Trump in November.
I'm one who thinks he's beatable, by the way. I'll get your take on that when we come forward. But the rambling, incoherent, ego-driven windbag that I saw closing out the RNC was very, very beatable. And we'll talk more about that. We'll take your phone calls. You got something to say, 800-920-1580. We are unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm going out with the girls this weekend. Nails done, outfit stunner, and my skin, I know it's going to be glowing because I glammed up my shower routine with new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. It smells so luxurious and deeply moisturizes with its super rich, creamy lather that's bursting with vitamin B3 complex. So my skin glows and my confidence grows. Try new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash for glowing skin in just 14 days.
With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Kind of like choosing Derek Jeter as the pinch hitter for your baseball team.
Jeter, you're in. We need a home run.
I'll give it a try. I've swung a bat once or twice.
That's out of here.
Yep, even easier than that. With no fees or minimums and no overdraft fees, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One N.A. member FDIC.
We've got a lot to talk about.
Race, culture wars, political turf battles, criminal justice and injustice, the courts. These are the conversations you won't hear elsewhere. My guests are leading journalists, celebrities, and sports figures, elected leaders, and influencers. They aren't afraid to get into it and say the quiet part out loud. With Ariva Martin in real time, your commute just became the most engaging part of your day. Tune in weekdays from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. or find us on YouTube. Ariva Martin in real time, when you want it straight, no chaser.
Unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got your black.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and clear skin, count me in. With Skyrizi Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clear skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now, joining me, Jasmyne Cannick, Gen X writer, journalist, and a Democratic campaign strategist, along with many other hats she wears. Jasmyne, we've got Dwight on the phone calling us from the city of Compton. Good morning, Dwight.
Good morning, Dominique. Good morning, Jasmyne Cannick, and good morning to Miles, Tavis, and thank you guys for coming on the air yesterday with the breaking news. You know, I love your station so much, and I'm 100% behind Kamala Harris, and I'm asking all the people that are 18 to 100 to please register to vote. And if you're not registered, go to vote.gov, register, get out here and vote, support her. And if you have a complaint about something, email the White House or call the White House. You know, I'm so happy to see that we have a strong person to go up against Donald Trump now, because this Project 2025 is no joke. I mean, no-fault divorce. So if you got abusive, I'm sure most people think husband. If you have abusive mate, you know, no-fault divorce, you can take your kids or you can just get away. And it's so many things that this Project 20 is going to take away abortion rights for women. And they take away the birth control at the same time. So, Dominique, I'm 100% behind Kamala, and I just hope that our whole communities and other people too get behind her and make this thing happen. You know, make her the next president of the United States. Because the nicer the Republicans sound, something like Citizens United or the Heritage Foundation or Electoral College, you know. These things we're going to have to do away with, you know. So when they tell you somebody else is doing something, they're telling you what their plans are. So, Dominique, I know you got a lot of calls this morning. Thank you. Thank KBLA. And let's America, let's make this happen.
Thank you, Dwight. Jasmyne, any response to some of the points Dwight was bringing up?
Well, yeah, Project 2025 is very scary. I remember I tweeted last week, I think it was, how there's a movie called V for Vendetta, and I tweeted that I just feel like we're watching the U.S. version of that come to life. I've seen a lot of comparisons to Orwell. There's just, that is definitely very scary. And I'm happy that I'm seeing it all over social media because it means folks are sort of paying attention. You have to get outside your bubble. You always have to get outside and know what the other side is talking about, what they're working on. Dwight's exactly right about that. And, we are, most of us are pretty clear on what is coming our way should Donald Trump be elected for president as a second time. It is very scary as a Black person. It is very scary as a woman. It is very scary as a human being to be in this country under that type of leadership, knowing that those are some of the things in a long laundry list of things that they are trying to change or turn the clock back on.
Yeah, it's well said. I hadn't seen this. Somehow this escaped my view that the PAC, the Political Action Committee that was organized to support Nikki Haley, has pivoted to Kamala Harris. Did you see that? I hadn't seen that. That they're going to be supporting her. That's according to Newsweek. That is not a good sign for Donald Trump if it pulls even a fraction of those Nikki Haley voters over to Vice President Kamala Harris's camp.
Yeah, and I think we'll see a lot of that in this week. A lot of folks who were never staunch supporters of Donald Trump, perhaps backing up and saying, let's support Harris. I just pulled that story up while you were talking. I hadn't seen that.
Haley Voters for Harris. They changed the name of their organization to Haley Voters for Harris yesterday. I mean, I know there is the fact that she has, part Indian. She's half, East Indian on behalf of her mom, and Haley is East Indian. But this is a Republican organization, Republicans and moderates, supposedly moderate Republicans and independents, and they've pivoted in one day. I think that, to me, that's a good sign.
It is a good sign. And like I said earlier, I mean, there are people that Harris will be able to pull simply because she's a woman. This country is far behind the rest of the world in electing women to lead. Far, far behind, right? To think that we are still on the verge of electing our first female president, and many African nations, many Latin American nations have done it repeatedly. and here we are.
African nations, let's not forget Africa. Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. You're right. That's really, really crazy. Let's go to Fahima calling us from Washington, D.C. Good morning, Queen.
Habaragani and K-Pasa, Dominique, and greetings to your guest, Ms. Cannick. I was amongst the 144,000 on the call last night, and it was invigorating. And I have always been Team Kamala. She was actually my candidate, and it has nothing to do with the fact that we're both bisons. But I just want to be clear that because I've been in conversations with people who formerly known as superdelegates, who are delegates, and the fact of the matter is that this was a attempt by the elites in the Democratic Party, white Democrats in particular, and one of the people that's behind this, that was behind pushing Biden out, was Steve Smith, who has this pass the torch pack, and they're pushing for a open convention, and we're not having it. We are not having it. The thing is, and we're not allowing anybody to put anybody over Kamala Harris. Their planning is that they want their party back, and there are forces behind this. but we're not having it. And that's what I wanted to share. Areva Martin is absolutely correct. She is close to the vice president, soon to be president, and she knows. This is the same thing that I've been hearing, because the reason why I've been away from talk radio is because I've been in these pods and in these discussions with these folks that are there on the ground. And we just need to get people out, make sure that people vote, and don't listen to the naysayers, because there's all kinds of things. They're targeting black people. They were doing this prior to pushing Biden out, but there's all sorts of efforts out there, creating divisions, trying to get black people not to vote and to stay home. Umar Johnson, who I detest, was telling people to vote for Donald Trump or stay home. Now, you clearly don't have the interest of black people if you're going to get on the Breakfast Club and say something like that. And so that's what I wanted to share. I am Team Kamala, and we're fired up and we're ready to go.
All right, 30 seconds before news, traffic, and sports, your response, and we can continue it after news, traffic, and sports.
I feel like she kind of repeated a little bit of what I said about who is behind this. But I think, her ultimate point about we got to get out there and vote is valid, and that we do have to get out there and vote, particularly if we want to beat Donald Trump.
Yeah, black women have saved the Democratic Party for a black man, for a white man, tried to do it for a white woman, couldn't make it happen. Can we save the Democratic Party for a black woman? Could black women do that? I say, we sure can. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Clarity now regarding how Democrats will go about selecting a new presidential nominee is expected later in the week. Biden has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris as his successor. The Democratic National Convention Rules Committee will hold a public meeting Wednesday. President Joe Biden is canceling a trip to Houston, Texas in the wake of Hurricane Beryl. Mayor John Whitmire said on Sunday that Biden had planned to be in Houston Thursday to discuss the city's preparation for the storm. The mayor's statement came just a few hours after Biden announced he's dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. Former President Obama isn't endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris just yet. In a statement, Obama didn't explicitly call for Harris to replace Biden on the ticket, but rather said Democratic leaders would come together to choose a new nominee. And that's the latest. I'm Mike Moore from your 24/7 news source, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Me and the kids were always messaging. They LOL'd, I ROFL'd, but then I changed phone and the bubbles went green. But where there's a fill, there's a way. And I found a way to share what's in here. I'm tapping my heart.
WhatsApp, the place to safely send messages between different devices. Message privately with everyone.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Dodgers completed a 3-game sweep over the Boston Red Sox. The Dodgers had 6 home runs from 6 different players. The homestand continues tonight with the start of a 4-game series against the San Francisco Giants. The Angels played the 5,000th game Sunday in the 63-year history of their franchise. They celebrated with a win at Oakland. They snapped a 5-game losing streak to the A's. The Angels head up to Seattle for the start of a 3-game series tonight. For all alumni from schools in the SWAC conference, the SWAC is moving their men's and women's conference basketball tournaments to Atlanta in 2025. The postseason tournaments for the HBCU schools is scheduled for March 11 to March 15 at the Gateway Center Arena, home of the WNBA Atlanta Dream. The men and women winners in the SWAC tournament earn an automatic bid to the NCAA tournament. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson. More news, opinions, and conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Finding a path to a meaningful career, one where you're making an impact and making enough money, it can be tough. There's one path, though, that many young adults are landing on that leads them to careers where they can work outdoors, protect our environment, take on climate change, and get paid while they train. It's the California Conservation Corps. You just have to be 18 through 25 years old to enroll or a U.S. military veteran through age 29, and you have to be a California resident. That's it. There's no education requirement, no employment history needed. Some Corps members need to finish up high school. Others are college grads. But during their 1 year of service, all CCC Corps members can earn the work experience and certifications needed to become a wildland firefighter, forestry technician, install solar, or build trails in our state parks. Learn how you can enroll at ccc.ca.gov. Do this for you. Become the person you want to be through the California Conservation Corps. To help combat climate change, LADWP is helping neighborhoods have better access to electric vehicles by awarding nearly $130 million in EV rebates to customers just like you. From big savings on used EVs to building new charging plazas, LADWP is charging ahead to help all Angelenos experience the benefits of EVs. Get rebates of up to $4,000 for a used EV and $1,750 for a charger. Learn more at ladwp.com/EV. That's ladwp.com/EV.
Sometimes I struggle to get to sleep. My body stopped for the day, but my mind is still running. So I take ZzzQuil.
ZzzQuil, the world's #1 sleep aid brand, has a range of non-habit-forming products to fit you and your family's needs. Invest in a great night's sleep for the best you tomorrow.
I'm awake and ready to take on anything.
Better days start with ZzzQuil nights. Explore our products at ZzzQuil.com. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Go to hims.com/joy. Through HIMS, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, and the process is 100% online. To start your free online visit, go to hims.com/joy. That's HIMS.com/JOY.
As a rideshare driver, I love keeping my car smelling fresh and clean. So when I'm driving, I only trust new Febreze car vent clips, now with 3 times greater scent control, because it's that little touch that sets me apart. I can turn the intensity down for subtle freshness, or I can turn it up for when I want lots of scent. So whether it's set to low, medium, or high, with new Febreze car, I know my car's going to smell amazing, which keeps my driver rating right where it belongs. Picking up Oscar!
A violent crime is committed every 24 seconds. The U.S. Concealed Carry Association exists to provide you with firearms education, training, and access to self-defense liability insurance. So when trouble comes, you'll be ready. Over 800,000 Americans trust the USCCA, and right now, there's an exclusive, limited-time offer for radio listeners. Go to defendfamily.com to get a free family defense guide, a survival secrets training video from a retired FBI agent, and see all the benefits of membership. Go to defendfamily.com now.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Well, we do appreciate you, Democratic strategist and Gen X journalist, advocate, and LA County Democratic Party delegate, I should add, Jasmyne Cannick, is on the phone with me, and you are welcome to join at 800-920-1580. I hear what you're saying and what Fahima is saying, and that's actually what I expected. I expected more contesting and chaos. So far, folks are lining up behind Harris, and even Joe Manchin, who had announced he was going to challenge, apparently reconsidered, because this morning it's being reported that he's decided not to.
Well, here's the thing. We haven't gotten to Chicago yet.
Yeah.
And for folks who are wondering what that reference means, it means the DNC, when the Democrats have their gathering to deal with their nominee. Now, previously, if I recall correctly, which I probably do, there was going to be a virtual roll call ahead of time. I think this was scheduled so that they can meet the Ohio deadline, but then they made some changes in Ohio, but they were still going to go through with it to announce Biden as the official nominee ahead of the start of the convention. However, now things are a little different. And so they're, Chicago is still going to be a big deal. There could be some drama coming out of Chicago, depending on the way that the delegates vote. There are about almost 4,000 delegates, 3,949 delegates, 749 super delegates. And the super delegates are going to come into play if after the first vote there isn't a clear winner, then the super delegates get to vote. So it could go all the way depending on what happens and who decides that they may want to end up throwing their hat in the ring. But, Biden saying that he isn't going to run again, freed up his delegates, but they'll probably line up behind Harris out of, loyalty, respect, right? Because that's the candidate that he has endorsed. And so you could assume that most of, if not all of Biden's delegates will line up behind Harris.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. Okay, so let's say they do that virtual vote that they're talking about doing the first week of August, and then they have to vote a second time. And you're saying that if she's not the clear winner in the first polling, the online polling, that we could see some challenges ahead of the convention and then culminating at the convention, which is August 19th. Is that kind of where you're going with that?
No, I'm saying that in the first vote, if Harris isn't the clear winner, they'll have to come back to the drawing board. Folks will have to vote. The super delegates will probably come into play, and then you have all of that going on.
Right, but I mean,
it's all exciting.
Yeah,
go
sure.
ahead.
No, go ahead with the excitement. I'm here for that.
No, it's exciting because I feel like this is one of the few times in America where people are actually paying attention to who the delegates are, who their delegate is, what delegates do, why we elect them every 4 years. This is for times exactly like this. So this is when being a delegate pays, right? When you actually have a say. I know someone on my Facebook said, I didn't vote for Biden to step down. And I said, hey, you won't be voting for Biden or anybody else until November. It's the delegates that get to make decisions. And they're like, oh, the delegates. And I'm like, yeah, the delegates.
Well, I mean, okay, so here's the thing, though. Most of the people that people are putting forth as folks to run against her have already endorsed her. Gavin Newsom, Shapiro, I mean, the list of people that have endorsed her so far is very long, including Maxine Waters, Congresswoman Kamala Harris, for those here in California, the Mayor Karen Bass of Los Angeles.
Absolutely. They were falling all over themselves. Folks couldn't get statements out fast enough yesterday. But here's the thing, that's the process, right? So, I mean, even though, folks have lined up, and I thought it was interesting, I did hear, and I saw in a couple of short lists too Newsom's name, and I was just like, yeah, well, they're both from California. There's a 12th Amendment. Are we willing to give up all of our electoral college votes just to have a Harris-Newsom ticket? I don't think we would be willing to do that. So there were some other things playing against Newsom as well because, you can have two people from the same state, but you have to give up something in the process. And in our case, it would have been our electoral college votes, right? And so Newsom wasn't really, really going to be ever considered because of that, right? And so, yes, most of the people have signed up behind Harris. I don't think the party would have moved forward with this announcement, with this big change, without talking to potential challengers, without having conversations to see where folks are out. That's why we have whips. That's why we have folks that sort of make sure folks are in line. They were in line prior to Biden. Everybody was speaking the same language. I'm standing by my man no matter what, no matter how bad he performs, no matter what he says, no matter how many times he freezes, no matter what. They were going to stand by Biden, right? And so you're going to see a lot of that happening over the next week when it comes to Harris. Everybody is, for the most part, going to line up and stand up behind Harris. So I think we will have a drama-free convention, but you never know.
You never know. Yeah, you don't. Let's go to Paul calling us from L.A. Hi, Paul.
Man, good morning, ladies. I mean, you said everything. Y'all said everything I was going to say on the line because when it first happened yesterday, I said, yep, there they go, pulling the strings, the elitist at the end of the day, taking it out of the voters' hands. And my concern next was for what was going to happen to Vice President Harris. And because she was next in line, because a lot of those people behind the scenes are trying to pull strings in a way because they're looking at the 2028 election. And if Harris was to take on the throne, that would just kill their ambitions. So, once I started seeing the endorsements first from Biden, then I seen the Clintons, then I seen, and there were some heavy hitters in there too that were endorsing Harris. And now even the people that, outside of Gritmer, you see Shapiro, you've seen Andy Beshear, and I think in time, you see even Adam Schiff, because we blew his phone up off of the situation with Biden and everything. We blew his phone up, but he endorsed her. You're probably going to see Pelosi soon. And I do agree with this. The energy, the donations, the small dollar donations is what people should really be paying attention to. There is a lot of energy. There's a lot of push for, no, it's time. It is time. And you already see Trump is back. He's taking a step back because he does not want to debate her, because she will cream him in a debate when he tries to tell his lies, because she is a prosecutor. She is experienced. She's ready for this overall. So I just want to say, I know there was a Sisters had a call last night, but word on the street is Roland Martin is trying to put together one for the black men throughout the country tonight. So, yeah, we getting together, too. We're ready to hit these streets.
Right on. I know the California Black women are going to have a call today, and I'm definitely looking forward to that one. I'm all here for the Harris-Trump debate. Now, that's one that I will be excited to watch.
Same, but it ain't going to happen. He's already saying, Paul, it should be on Fox, not CBS, even though he already agreed to debate on CBS. To me, that's called backpedaling and trying to think of an excuse not to face VP Harris.
Of course he is.
And right, and just pay attention. They have nothing on her. And so they're now mispronouncing her name purposely. They're obviously doing the dog whistle. People, the man in the primaries as an incumbent was getting 50 to 60%. You had the PAC that was for Nikki Haley, even though she bent the knee like we knew she was because she's an opportunist. Those people now are endorsing. There's a PAC from Nikki Haley that's endorsing VP Harris. All you need in those swing states is roughly of that 30 to 40%. All you really need is about 5 to 10% of those people in those swing states, and you win the election. Get out and vote. We can win this election.
Yeah, I think that's right, Paul.
Pick Shapiro.
You think she should pick Shapiro?
Here's my reason why, real quick. You need Pennsylvania, right? Because that's the blue wall. Shapiro locks in Pennsylvania. You already have the trifecta in Michigan, so that's already locked up. So now you can really just focus on Wisconsin, going according to the Electoral College in the map, right? You lock in those states, you're going to get 270.
Go ahead, Jasmine.
No, I was just going to add to that. One of the reasons why I think you're seeing lots of folks also particular names just go ahead and line up behind Harris is because they are on that short list to be VP. I mean, Shapiro is 51 years old. We have a VP pick on the other side. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dominique. I'm going off memory. I believe he's 39 years old.
Yes, he's 39. She's talking about J.D. Vance.
Right. And so we have a lot of people on the short list. I think Kentucky's governor is like 49. We like to be polite most of the time, but age is an issue in this election. It clearly is. We have a lot of folks on the short list for VP for Harris who do tend to skew younger. They're either like younger boomer or older Gen X in that group. That seems to be sort of the the age range that I've been seeing, right? With Michigan's governor, who I think is 52. And then, I think our Harris is 59?
Yeah.
I think
59.
she's 59, right.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's an issue too. And so when you hear Paul talk about people like Shapiro, yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a reason why folks are lining up. They're on that short list. They know they're on that short list. They have to get in line. For folks who are listening who don't understand, we do have swing states that can make or break this election. California is not one of them, but Colorado, Florida, Iowa, Michigan, Nevada, New Hampshire, North Carolina, Ohio, those are some of the states where it really does matter. And so when you get involved and you belong to a Democratic club and they say, oh, we're going to make calls to Nevada, we're going to do calls from California to Michigan, this is why. Because we're trying to work to get voters in those states to make sure that they show up and turn out. You or me staying home, Dominique, on election day does not make a difference for where California's electoral college votes go, but it absolutely could make a difference in the votes in those states.
Yeah, great points all. Paul, appreciate the call. He called 800-920-1580, and I invite you to do the same. We are chopping it up this morning. We are going to keep unpacking this, keep talking about it, and keep the pressure on my party. I don't know if it's yours. 800-920-1580. We are amplifying Black and progressive voices all the time. That's what we do at KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code PATH to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code PATH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code PATH for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
Securing your firearms protects lives. Pick up your free gun safety lock at select LA County libraries and hospitals. Learn more about other gun safety measures you can take to keep our families and communities safe. Visit lacountygunsafety.org or call 1-833-540-0473 for more resources on gun safety. Together, we can save lives.
Hey, LA residents, it's planting season and the perfect time to get shade trees growing around your home. LADWP and City Plants are giving every resident up to 7 free trees. That's right, 7 free trees delivered right to your door. Trees are great for the environment, help improve air quality, and can help you save on your bill when you use less air conditioning to stay cool indoors. Learn more at ladwp.com/free trees. That's ladwp.com/free trees.
Looks like Bobby needs a ride again.
Grab the keys. Let's take our auntie to the swap meet. Grab the keys.
Whether you're giving rides or hauling gear, do it all in a Chevy SUV. Head to your local Chevy dealer, where well-qualified buyers get 1.9% financing on all 2024 Malibu, Colorado, Blazer, Equinox, Trailblazer, and Traverse limited models. Chevrolet, together, let's drive.
1.9% APR for 36 months. Monthly payment is $2,860 for every $1,000 you finance. Example down payment 15.8% must finance with GM Financial. Some customers may not qualify. Not available with lease and some other offers. Take new retail delivery by 7/1/24.
My mom has taken up going to the park to practice yoga.
My dad's going to a club, but not a book club, a salsa club.
Finding new hobbies comes with age.
My mom has started getting lost and not knowing where she's going.
Becoming lost or disoriented doesn't. Confusion with time or place may be a sign of Alzheimer's. An early diagnosis can help improve the quality of life for your loved one. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Hey there, Los Angeles. This is James Lucky Jr., publisher and editor of Los Angeles News Observer. Are you hungry for news that matters to you in the African American communities of Los Angeles? Well, buckle up, because we got the scoop you've been craving. Stay in the know and never miss a beat with our free weekly publications conveniently available near you. Or hop on the digital wave and become an exclusive subscriber at OGNSC.com. Don't forget to join the party on Instagram and Twitter at OGNSCINC for behind-the-scenes access and sizzling updates. No more FOMO. Let's stay informed, connected, and empowered together.
I'm going out with the girls this weekend. Nails done, outfit stunner, and my skin, I know it's going to be glowing because I glammed up my shower routine with new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash. It smells so luxurious and deeply moisturizes with its super rich, creamy lather that's bursting with vitamin B3 complex. So my skin glows and my confidence grows. Try new Olay Indulgent Moisture Body Wash for glowing skin in just 14 days.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where everybody is somebody and nobody is a stranger. You belong here.
Yes, indeed. 800-920-1580. I can't even keep up with the comments in the chat. Jasmyne Cannick is with me. Before we pivot to more of these phone calls, Jasmyne, how does this impact California? How does it impact LA County voters? Aside from the fact that we know, should Kamala Harris be the nominee, that it should create more energy around voting and hopefully help some of these down ballot candidates and propositions.
Right. And so for me, that's the big takeaway for California and LA County voters, right? We already know which way our state is going to go in the presidential election, but folks staying home and not voting during the voting period once it starts, because, we're in California, everyone's going to get a ballot mailed to them, and that is when the election officially starts. That hurts city council races, district attorney races, proposition races, and all of these other local races if folks stay home and they do not participate in the election. So that, for me, is one of the big takeaways. One of the things I'm most excited for is because now I feel like a lot of the folks and I've heard from some of these folks, as I'm sure you have over the weekend, they're like, okay, I can get with this. Now I'm going to vote. So that means there's a good chance that they're going to vote for all the other offices that are on their ballot, because there are quite a few. We'll be voting on judges. It's just so much that we'll be voting on. And I always try to remind people that, yes, what happens in D.C. is really important, but the stuff that happens on Spring Street and on Temple, downtown L.A. are going to affect you a lot more and a lot quicker than anything coming to D.C., right? And so you want to make sure that you are paying attention to who's running for city council, where you live at, who's running for mayor, where you live at. Because, again, I know that all of KBLA's listeners do not live in the city of Angels.
Yep.
And so in Compton and Long Beach and other cities, there are other municipal elections going on that you need to be paying as much attention to as you are as to what is going on the Hill over in D.C. In fact, you need to be paying more attention to what's going on locally, keeping it real.
And even statewide, I mean, we've got some consequential stuff that will likely be on the ballot in November, right? Including this sort of attempt to repeal Prop 47, and here in LA, trying to replace the progressive district attorney with the throwback one supported by Jackie Lacey. So from a statewide and countywide perspective, we're looking at some pretty significant things on the ballot.
Absolutely. So so for me, this excitement around Harris among Democratic voters translates to Democratic voters showing up for all of the other races that are just as critical, if not more critical to our livelihood right here in LA County.
Yeah. Someone in the chat, Morris, who suggested Cat Williams as a running mate for Kamala Harris, asked, has anyone ever won the White House without winning Ohio? And no Republican ever has. But apparently the Democrats have won the presidency without winning Ohio 8 times. And I, that conversation comes out of who should be the running mate. John King got in trouble yesterday for saying Shapiro would be risky because he's Jewish. And
I heard that too.
Like you said, there's no perfect candidate. I mean, not to say that being Jewish makes you an imperfect candidate, but there's nobody that doesn't have something that Republicans can't attack them for. And so, I mean, it's going to be ugly and bloody and low. That's what I'm expecting.
It is. It's gonna get a lot nastier before it gets better. And look, it's not just the Republican Party. We got people in the Democratic Party tearing each other apart too. So let's keep it real. Let's not act like it's just the Republicans.
Yeah, but not at the same level, Jasmyne Cannick. Give me a break.
Maybe not at the same level, but some of the same arguments. I'm not going to sit up here and act like I don't hear people saying, "Oh, she's not black enough. She's married to someone who's not black." Like we have
those are not the same arguments, but they have the same purpose. You're right. And Kamala Harris uniquely faces that. She's taking a lot of heat from left and right.
Yeah, she is. But again, going back to the earlier statement, there's no perfect candidate. But I tell you what, more people have been more excited about the Democratic ticket in the last 24 hours than they have been throughout this entire primary season. And so that gives a lot of us hope that we can prevail in November. And ultimately that, for progressive voters, for Democrats, that is the goal, to prevail in November.
It definitely is. We got a minute here. What do you want to leave us with this morning, Jasmyne Cannick?
I'll say this really quickly. I just want to remember Darren Parker, who is the former chair of the African American Caucus of the Democratic Party. He passed away today several years ago. I'm missing Bobby Jean Anderson and Mr. Dineley in these political times because I'm sure they would both have so much to say and give us so much insight. And then I just say, when you step out into the world today, y'all, if your presence doesn't make an impact, then your absence will not make a difference. And you should carry that with you everywhere you go, to remember that when we step out in this world, our goal is to try to make things better, not just for ourselves and our families, but our entire community, our people. And we said we were going to talk about it, but we ran out of time while we're doing RIPs. Rest in peace, Sheila Jackson Lee, who lost her battle with cancer. Absolutely, yes. Jasmyne Cannick, thanks so much for kicking off this crazy Monday morning with me. We're continuing the conversation about this all day, so call me. KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Mike Moore. Here's the latest from the Black Information Network. Clarity now regarding how Democrats will go about selecting a new presidential nominee is expected later in the week. Biden has endorsed Vice President Kamala Harris as his successor. The Democratic National Convention Rules Committee will hold a public meeting Wednesday. President Joe Biden is canceling a trip to Houston, Texas in the wake of Hurricane Beryl. Mayor John Whitmire said on Sunday that Biden had planned to be in Houston Thursday to discuss the city's preparation for the storm. The mayor's statement came just a few hours after Biden announced he's dropping out of the 2024 presidential race. Former President Obama isn't endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris just yet. In a statement, Obama didn't explicitly call for Harris to replace Biden on the ticket, but rather said Democratic leaders would come together to choose